I'm Joyce Woodworth. Welcome to the Spirit of the Heartland. Today I have a very special guest with me. He's a special musician who has a purpose. Rather than just playing, he does it for a purpose. This is Rob Gonzalez. Hi, Rob.
Hi, how are
Welcome
you?
to the Spirit of the Heartland.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, you're quite welcome.
Thank you.
Now, Rob, I know what introduced me to you is the fact that you are going to be presenting a concert here in Winona for flood relief.
That's right.
And I kind of guess this is your MO now these days. You're putting on concerts for a purpose. Tell me about that.
I am. Well, I've been at this for a long time, and I've seen changes in the music industry. I've seen them as I traveled all across the United States. From 2002 to 2005, I toured all over the country, and I've seen them up close in the heart of the industry in Los Angeles. And I saw an industry that has an overemphasis on greed and things that have nothing to do with what music truly is, which is about love. It's about helping people through music and doing it for the love of it rather than just to get rich off of it. So I left Los Angeles to come back to the Midwest to pursue doing music for the right reasons, and that's what I've done for the past year. And I've had about 16 benefit concerts this year alone. Oh,
that's wonderful.
Thank you.
Well, tell me a little bit about the flood relief concert.
Sure.
What brought you here to Winona to do that?
Well, the night that the rainstorms came, I was in La Crosse, and having myself just driven through the 3 feet of water to get home, I sympathized with people that really lost so much and struggled so much. And I knew that night that I would try to do as much as I could with my music to help people. So I've done 2 events now, and this is the second event that I've done to try to raise some money to help some people that are struggling.
That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Well, let's talk a little bit about you as a musician. How did you get started? And I know you're very talented.
I started when I was about 7 years old, and I was playing this. I just took to the boogie-woogie jazz blues style of piano as opposed to... It just seemed a little too stiff for me. So that, my teacher showed me the blues, and then my life was never the same. So I started young, and by the time I was in high school, I was getting offers to play professionally in Milwaukee. I grew up in Wauwatosa. And my parents were getting more and more and more nervous, Well, I was making money in high school. They thought that was a little odd, I'd go out and do a gig and come home at 11:30, and it's a little odd for a 17-year-old. But I was, my music was carrying me into the world, and right after high school, I got my first professional full-time music job. So.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And I know you're a songwriter.
I am.
Well, let's hear maybe a little bit of one of the songs. One of your favorite songs.
Sure. Well, we're here in Minnesota, but I have a song called Missing Wisconsin that I wrote that's a big hit, especially, obviously, in Wisconsin. But she moved to Boston for college and a big city life. And as her plane rolled down the runway, her parents watched and cried. Now it's 8 years later, East Coast she's remained. The traffic around the subway, she's lost either way. In a one-room apartment with barely space to breathe, she thinks about her family and those pastures of green. And she is missing Wisconsin. She is missing her best friend with tears in her eyes. She is missing Wisconsin. A simple house on a hilltop and a fullness inside. It's missing Wisconsin.
Oh, that was lovely. And girls, he's got the longest eyelashes. That was lovely. You're like a sort of a young Billy Joel. You've got wonderful music, and hopefully you won't lose your hair like Billy.
Thank you. Well, no, it's still there. It's a little messy at the moment, but yeah, still got the hair. So.
Well, how many songs have you written, do you think?
I've written about maybe 150 songs. And how many of those are good ones? Maybe a good 100 songs. And for a songwriter, that's pretty well. That means you're doing okay. I've had 4 albums. I'm working on my 5th. Actually, I'm working 2 at the same time. another album of original material, and then an album of classics, you know, like a little Ray Charles, you know, Georgia, oh Georgia, you know. I wanted to do a tribute to all the great singers that I love, you know, Ray Charles and Van Morrison and James Taylor, who I met, and that's one of the albums I'm working on.
And I know folks out there are going to want to watch you in concert, or
Right.
maybe not even in concert. I understand that you do play locally as well. Tell us about that.
Well, I do. I moved to La Crosse, and in April I did a concert at the La Crosse Center, and we had about 2,000 people come. But in the meantime, when I'm not doing those big concerts, I have to keep playing music, and I don't really care if it's for 2 people or 10 people or 100 people. So I play at a restaurant in the La Crosse area. It's a very nice restaurant. It's called the Waterfront Restaurant. The schedule changes. Otherwise, I'd give you a schedule now. But people should call and just find out if I'm there.
Oh, excellent idea.
Yeah.
And then I know you've also got Christmas concert coming up in La Crosse.
I do, yeah, and that's another one of those big concerts, and we're probably expecting between the 2,000 and 3,000 this time, and that's December 8th, and we're trying to raise $5,000 for the Family and Children's Center in that one night.
Tell me how you feel about presenting concerts to
Sure.
people that you're helping people out. Tell
Sure.
me about that.
Well, I mean, obviously, it makes me feel great. You know, I was born with talent. I mean, my family and my friends, they'll say I was born with talent, and you know, so for me, I just feel this personal mission to use that talent to give back, rather than to use it for my own personal gain. I mean, everybody's got to make a living, and you know, I want to make a living just like the next person wants to make a living. I'd rather do it for the right reasons. It gives me more enjoyment that way. And you know, and if people embrace it, then great. You know.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, Rob, thank you so much for
Thank
visiting
you.
with us today.
Thank you so much.
We're standing in Dave Wright's recreational programming class, which is a class, I think, about community spirit. And I understand now these are the group of people that brought together Rob Gonzalez for the Disaster Flood Show, which is going to be soon.
Very soon.
Yeah.
In fact, Thursday night.
Tell me about the class. What does the class do?
The class is a recreation programming class, and our main theme is to learn how to plan and run events, community events, and university events effectively, budgeting, promotion, and so on and so forth. Yeah.
Well, tell me how the event with Rob Gonzalez evolved.
Actually evolved through a colleague of mine, Lorraine Olson, who decided that the program would be an effective community spirit, particularly in the light of the flood relief. We thought it was for a good cause. So Lorraine has a personal contact in the band, her nephew, and Rob Gonzalez is apparently a big hit in La Crosse. And we thought, what better way to put some flood relief money together than to get a concert on our campus. The whole class had a very active role, but these 3 students were paramount in making this program work. So can I introduce you to Eric?
Sure.
Eric's the key spokesperson here. Eric, this is Joyce.
Hi, Eric. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Well, tell me how you were involved with bringing Rob Gonzalez to Winona.
Well, I helped out with poster designs, and we spread those out throughout the community and on campus. A few students and I worked on a press release. We got it out to the radio. We had a live section in the Winona Daily News. We have 2 radio spots.
Good. What's the major thing you took out of this class?
You have to start early in promotion because the event comes up fast.
Good point.
It definitely has been a learning experience, like you said.
Sure. Well, Rob Gonzalez, I understand, is a great talent, and thank you for bringing him here. But he is really here for a wonderful purpose, and I want to find out a little bit more from you what that purpose is.
Our purpose is to raise money for the flood relief victims in the area here. Our area was devastated pretty heavily with all the floods, and there's a lot of students on campus and just families within the community that are still struggling through making ends meet. So we were hoping to raise some money for them to help them out through winter and especially the holiday season here.
Great cause. Must make you feel great.
It does. It's a good feeling, and I know Rob does a lot of work with melvincares.com. That's his big thing. So we're helping to try and promote that around the campus too a little bit.
Well, great. I want to thank all of you for what you've been doing and raising money for the flood effort. I know it's going to be well used and certainly well deserved.
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah. Definitely a good experience. Oh, yeah.
Definitely a good time.
It was cool.
Well, it's the night for the big concert for flood relief at Winona State University's Thompson Auditorium. It's our chance to see how the recreation majors in Mr. Wright's class did in promoting this worthy event, and it's our opportunity to introduce to you, the Heartland, a very talented musician and songwriter, Rob Gonzalez, and his wonderful band. I know you'll enjoy it.
Only the coffee in my tube, keeping a smile on my face. God help me get there to save life on earth. People back home feeling hopeless and birthless. Oh, I got a view through a window so small. Radiation shooting through me, so my heart's in free fall. Something lost deep inside long ago. I'm on a mission to Mars. This ain't nothing like a rocket man song. And I wanna tell everybody that I miss them so. Loneliness ain't nothing till you're all better alone. I got a robot full of friends, but he's alright. Steering the controls while I sleep at night. Oh, baby. I'm on a mission to Mars. Oh, mission to Mars. Well, I remember as a kid wanting to go into space. Among the others at school, I always felt out of place. Never watched TV, I just sat in my room with my head in the clouds and my heart frozen up on the moon. And I wanna tell everybody that I'm a servant soul. Loneliness ain't nothing when you're over alone. I got a robot full of friends, but he's alright. Steering the controls while we sleep at night. Oh, baby. I'm on a mission to Mars. Oh, a mission to Mars. The gleam in your eyes, a piercing light designed at me. Hearing the call of the wild, I'm a lost child, we could be family. And I've far too many songs detailing heartache, babe. Sad tales of Cupid's arrows gone astray. Something in your shiny eyes is like candy. Something in your heart of darkness will cry me. Stop until you to come up and at me. The heels of your shoes, your baby blues, tools of your army. The fading fields of innocence and soulful body. Turning up the earth to leave no space at all. Something in your shiny eyes is like candy. Something in your heart of darkness will crack me. Drifting down a river red. Drifting down a river red. Here we go, river red. Drifting down a 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 river red. Oh, drifting down a river red. And I'm on my way.
I honestly, from the bottom of my heart, I can't thank you all enough for coming to do two great things at once. See a great band and a great cause, and so thank you from behalf of the band. Thank you. You guys are like a beatbox. That's right.
We got rhythm in Winona. It was rhythm in Winona. It was rhythm in Winona. Let's just go with it. Right. Give it. See, when I was in high school, my buddies would take me to parties, and they would strategically go to the parties that had pianos. And they'd have me sit down, and I would start. And within about 6 seconds, all the girls would come over, and my buddies would be like, "Uh-huh. We love you, Rob." And let's see, what else? Any 80s fans? 80s fans, come on. Here we go. The ultimate 80s song. So, you know, that's Phil Collins, right? Phil Collins? He started with that, and then he went into Disney movies, right? Tarzan. But I swear, you know, the thing about Phil Collins, with, you know, the minute I started playing that, I saw all of you, and we're going,
I know you will. Another band from the 80s called the Doobie Brothers. Who remembers a guy named Michael McDonald? Remember Michael McDonald? He had a big hair, big beard, mustache, and he kind of sounded like this, maybe. I have a friend, he's a guitar player, he goes, you know why Michael sounds like that? He's got so much hair that there's hair between the microphone and his mouth. Oh, let's see. Georgia, oh Georgia, the whole night through. Oh, other arms, they reach out to me. Oh, other eyes smile, oh, so tenderly. And oh, still in peaceful dreams that I see on the road, well, it leads back to you. Georgia, whoa, my Georgia, no peace I find. It's just an old sweet song that's keeping Georgia on my mind. Oh. And oh, it's just an old sweet song keeping Georgia on my mind.
The band got the crowd up off their seats and Rob on his knees. The show was full of energy, talent, and fun. The Rob Gonzalez concert for flood relief raised over $1,200. Rob himself donated his pay for the evening to the flood relief effort. A special thank you goes out to Rob Gonzalez, his band, and the recreational programming class of Winona State University for bringing this worthwhile event to our community. This has been Joyce Woodworth. Thank you for joining me. Please join me again next week. Till then, enjoy the spirit of the Heartland.